and welcome to Magic Box Storytime with me, Lottie. Now, today we are going to find out what happens in Chapter 4 of The Tale of the Pilot and the Race. Penelope and her crew of quite small people have just got themselves out of a horrible hole. What's going to happen next? Chapter 4, Juice. Once they all felt cleaner and less like they'd been down a smelly hole, Penelope reminded everyone they had to keep going. "We're in a race, remember?" she said. "Got to keep our eyes on the prize." They set off through the dark wood again, and it was funny, really, because now that they'd been through the kerfuffle of falling down an icky hole, none of them felt that bothered anymore about being in a strange, dark wood. In fact, the strange, dark wood seemed almost jolly compared with what they'd just been through. No, the problem now was how extremely tired they'd become from heaving themselves out of the hole. Even Penelope the pilot was suffering, and after trudging only a short way, she stopped. "Crikey, crew," she said. "After that hole climbing, my legs are like jelly. I don't know about you, but I need to sit down. Come on, let's have a rest." Jodie and her friends were so happy to hear this that, well, they wanted to jump for joy, but then they remembered how tired they were, so they couldn't. They all flopped onto the soft, mossy carpet of the wood and tried not to think about how hungry they were. But then Penelope said, "Gosh, chaps, I could do with a snack, couldn't you?" Oh, Jodie said she really and truly could, and everyone else said so could they. "Well then," said Penelope, "let's think of our favourite snacks to cheer ourselves up and give us some oomph." No one was sure about this. It seemed to most of them that thinking about your favourite snack might make you feel even hungrier and stop your oomph completely. But the crew liked their pilot, and so to keep her happy, they joined in. Someone said they really fancied a cheeseburger with rhubarb jam. And someone else, who decided the first someone was a weirdo, said what they'd love was a bucket of curried popcorn washed down with a chilled glass of lime juice cordial. Toilet Situation gave the popcorn and cordial person a sharp look and said, "I want ice cream. I want ice cream now." Yoga breaths made Toilet Situation do some yoga breaths and pointed out that if he only had ice cream, he'd probably need the toilet, and it was quite clear that the Toilet Situation in the strange dark wood was not a good one. Jodie said she'd like a plate of toffee and chocolate chip brownies. And Penelope said she could murder a pepperoni pizza. No sooner had she finished saying the word pizza, though, than she jumped and said, "Oh!" in a surprised and squeaky voice. "What was that?" she said. "Something just brushed past my back." She looked around and pointed. "Oh, look there! Oh, sweet! Oh, it's a little squirrel! It's a little squirrel, crew! Do you see it?" The crew peered into the undergrowth, and sure enough, a small squirrel was peering back at them. "Oh," said Penelope, and over there, something stripy. "A badger! Oh, how delightful! Woodland friends! Are there any others?" Well, there most certainly were. Someone saw a hedgehog. Someone else saw a mole. Several people saw a lively pack of dormice. And there were weasels, a water vole, a couple of shrews, at least 20 foxes, and even a teenage deer who was pretending it wanted to be somewhere else. The creatures had gathered and were looking at Penelope and her crew, and no one really knew what was going to happen next. Something good, or something not quite so good. But then one of the animals made a move. "Oh!" said Penelope, trying not to move her lips in case she scared something. "Squirrel's coming over. Be alert!" It sounded more like, "A squirrel's coming over. Good!" But the crew understood. There was no need to worry, though. When the squirrel reached Penelope, it put out its little squirrel hands and offered her something very small. "Oh," said Penelope, looking delighted, "it's just given me this. Look, a tiny acorn cup." She sniffed it. "Ah," and smiled. "Oh, there's something tasty in it," she said. "I'd better drink it. Don't want to seem rude." She took a sip, which was basically all of it, because acorn cups don't hold more than a sip, and her crew waited anxiously. Toilet Situation couldn't help wondering if the squirrel was a good squirrel or not. What if it had given Penelope magic juice that would turn her into a blackberry that the possibly ungood squirrel might then eat? But Penelope didn't turn into a blackberry. Instead, she leapt to her feet and wailed operatically, "Golly!" she cried. "I feel fantastic! Utterly refreshed! That juice is wonderful! Do you think they've got any more? Jodie, look, that fox behind you, he's holding a tiny cup too! Oh!" Jodie, who by now had qualified as best co-pilot in the solar system, turned to see a fox standing in front of her offering a little acorn cup. "Goodness," she said, "I never knew foxes could hold cups or anything. Thank you very much." She took the cup and drank the juice and instantly felt completely better and untired. Everyone else was offered juice too by the woodland creatures, and for the next few minutes all you could hear in that part of the wood was juice slurping and people going, "Wow, wow, wow," as they felt their bodies fill with energy from the fantastic drink. "What flavour would you say that was?" said Yoga Breaths, licking the last droplets from the rim of his cup. "Blackberry?" said Jodie. "Strawberry," said the one with the cold. "Lingonberry?" said Toilet Situation. "No," said Yoga Breaths. "You only get them in Scandinavia, and that's miles away." To be honest, no one could really say for sure what flavour the woodland juice was. But the one thing they definitely agreed on was that it was unbelievably delicious and made them feel better than they'd ever felt before. And that is the end of Chapter 4. I'm so pleased Penelope and her crew got a rest and something lovely to drink. But what will happen about the race? We'll have to find out in Chapter 5. Do hope you can join me. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen to Magic Box Storytime with Lottie. Take care. Bye for now.